Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to today's call. I am Jackie O'Neill, the Senior Product Manager for ProAV. What that means, I'm really responsible for driving all of the marketing efforts behind our commercial vendors. I'm responsible for both the US and Canada. In addition to marketing efforts, we also review assortment and stocking strategies. We like to plan promotions, customer outreach, how we can do things a little bit differently and better. I, of course, work very closely with Seth and his sales team to understand upcoming projects, inventory needs, staging requests, anything of that nature. Kind of a one-stop shop in terms of marketing and product planning over here. And with that, I will kick it over to Seth to sort of speak a little bit more to the business. He is our National Sales Manager for ProAV, and I'm sure Seth has some great information for all of us today.
Well, thanks, Jackie, and thanks, Michael, and thanks to everybody for taking some time out of your day to spend with us and talk about the ADI solutions in the commercial AV category. As Jackie mentioned and Michael mentioned, I am Seth Evenson, so I am the National Sales Manager for Commercial AV in North America. So we've got a sales force in both the US and in Canada, and we work with different partners, different vendor partners in each country, and we'll kind of talk about the solutions that we offer and the vendors that help us support those. But really the agenda here today is pretty simple. Want to talk a little bit about the ADI value proposition, talk about where we are seeing growth in the Pro AV industry and how that's an opportunity for you. What types of Pro AV solutions do we think we can help you with, or do we see opportunities? And then ultimately, how do we put all of those things together to help you grow your business? So normally we are back in the Matrix when we were all plugged into the Matrix and we were doing these live in person at our expos or at trade shows. I would ask kind of the audience, what type of space they work in, because at ADI we do work with contractors across a very broad mix of disciplines. So not that we have to get into that, but it's always a great opportunity to see what everybody's background is, where they are coming into commercial AV, whether they are experienced in it, they're not experienced in it, but they're seeing opportunities, seeing end users and clients ask about it. And ultimately, what I hope I'm able to convey is that ADI can help you capture more of those business opportunities. And we'll kind of talk about how we can do that. So ADI has a very strong legacy in intrusion, access control, video surveillance, fire. But over recent years, we really have expanded into some adjacent spaces such as audio video, networking, commercial AV, enterprise connectivity, or structured cabling. And the reason being, not only do we see crossover growth and opportunity in those spaces, but the contractors that we're working with, all of you out there, the scopes of your project are becoming more and more broad. And ultimately, not only do we want to make procurement and purchasing easy for you from a one-stop shop perspective, but we also want to allow you to get into more of those spaces that you are seeing on the bids and the scopes of work. So that is really what we have tried to put together in terms of our assortment, our line card, the people that we've got in the organization, and the vendors that we partner with. ADI has a very strong footprint across North America. We've got 108 branch locations in the US and Canada, including Hawaii and Puerto Rico. So the odds are that there's an ADI location within pretty close proximity wherever you're doing a job. And we do work with a lot of contractors that work across several different parts of the country, work with clients that have multi-region, multi-location solutions, and knowing that you can go into any ADI location and get what you normally would from your home base is reassuring to a lot of our customers. Additionally, with 9 distribution centers across the US and Canada, if you're not able or don't have the ability to come into an ADI location, what we are able to do on your behalf with those distribution centers is put product where you need it, when you need it. So we can ship out directly to your job site. We can do staging and kitting in our hub and warehouse locations. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later on here as well. So if anybody has not been to an ADI branch, what you would see is, number one, they're all laid out very similar. So like I mentioned, if you are working across the country, you're going to be able to walk into any ADI location, and we try and make it very easy to find what you need. But we've got great teams working at each of our locations to help you find the solutions, help you get the answers to the questions that you might have. We have a just-in-time inventory model, so you're able to come in, pick up what you need on the way to the job site. And then we've also got a great feature called the PAT room, or the pick up anytime room. So if there's something that you need to pick up, you're in a pinch, you need it after hours or over the weekend, we can set that up in a secure manner for you to pick up in those hours. And then we do have training rooms at each location, and while they're not being used as much right now as they typically are, we generally do about a training a week in each of our locations. So we partner with vendors to discuss very specific product solutions. We partner, or we also work with them to cover larger category or solutions. So we're a big believer in continuing education, and we want to make sure that our dealer partners get the best knowledge and have the best opportunities to stay abreast of trends as well as technologies. Not sure if anybody on the call has had an opportunity to use this service, but we do have a great systems design team on staff. This is a 40-plus person staff based out of our Louisville, Kentucky location. And this team is really spread out and focused on several different spaces and disciplines, including intrusion, fire, surveillance, access, audio, residential audio and pro audio, networking, and enterprise connectivity. So whether you need assistance with one of those disciplines, or whether you're working on a broader scope of work that requires some networking between these types of disciplines, we've got a great team on standby that can help you with those things, can help you from a design standpoint, and they can be reached at the contact information below here. And I think we'll be able to get this contact info out to everybody after the call as well. One of the other things I want to call out as well is that we have an in-house project registration team, and we really find this to be a huge value add to our customer base for a couple of reasons. One is we do the heavy lifting on your behalf in terms of working with the manufacturers to get your project registered with those various manufacturers. So that could be a large camera job. And in the world of commercial AV, where this really becomes important and offers a huge cost savings, is on the video side of the business. So with video walls or panel projects where you're talking large quantities and generally larger dollars, to be able to get a discount, register that project for you, get that discount from the manufacturer, we pass that discount 100% of it onto you. So we're making sure that you realize the savings. It helps you from a competitive standpoint to secure that job and make sure that you're the only contractor working on that scope within that project. So we've got a team that can help you with that. And again, we were able to register any of our manufacturers that have registration discounts. we can work with and help you and do those on your behalf. So, why have we seen the shift? Why have we seen ADI invest more in commercial AV over the last several years? Well, it's because we've really seen the growth opportunity that this industry presents, not only for the distribution level, but ultimately for the dealers and the contractors. Over the last 10 to 15 years, and I've been in distribution for all of that, both on the residential audio video side and the commercial audio video side, I can tell you that the residential AV business, along with security, has kind of hovered around that single-digit growth from a year-over-year standpoint, especially as we have come out of the recessions from 2008, 2009. But one thing that has remained consistent over the last 10 to 15 years and is forecasted to continue is double-digit growth in the commercial AV industry. Forecasting to put it at an $83 billion industry in North America by 2022. Although Avixa did release a report in June that they did forecast growth to be down at the end of 2020 here, just based on the economic conditions that we're dealing with, they are forecasting a rebound in 2020. So I think there were a lot of sectors that took a little bit of a hit this year, and Pro AV was certainly one of them. But the robustness of the space, and as we'll talk about, the breadth of opportunities to put Pro AV in really is allowing it to be elastic and bounce back probably quicker than a lot of other industries are. So when we talk about commercial AV, we're talking about a couple of different types of applications. So on the audio side, you see a lot of applications in terms of presentation or paging and notification. Background music is something that you see in a lot of spaces, whether it's in restaurants, retail, hospitality. Voice lift is big in the education and classroom space. And mass notification and IP speakers is something that has grown a lot more in recent years and has also been able to partner more with the security, the life safety aspects of the security industry, so that now when we think about life safety and security, it's a much more broad solution that includes an audio video component and not necessarily just securing locations. Video conferencing capacity management is something that we've seen a lot of demand for in recent months as people and corporations and industries have acclimated and adapted to the new working environment. Video conferencing is something that is very much in demand, and we'll talk about some of the solutions that we offer and can help you with in that area. And then capacity management, I'm sure everybody has either had conversations with some of your clients or you've seen these in use as retailers, public spaces have really worked to limit the number of people going into different areas. They've fallen back on technology to help do that. One, just from a cost saving standpoint versus having somebody stand at every entrance or exit, we can put a kiosk or a tablet, partner with a camera and an infrastructure that really allows that system to be able to red light, green light where there's space and where there's not. So we've seen huge demand right now. And then on the video side, we do a ton of video walls. I think everybody has seen a lot more restaurants, particularly in the fast food or the casual dining space, turn to digital menu boards. In the corporate space, room scheduling, digital room scheduling has been big. And then whiteboards, interactive touches, mass notification has really, we've seen a lot more education, both K through 12 and higher education, budget more for these types of solutions. And then we'll talk a little bit too about where is there RMR opportunities in terms of advertising and kiosk and opportunities that video walls represent. So really, when we talk about what the applications are, you'll see that it really has grown to include a lot of traditional spaces as well. You know, on the corporate side, I talked about room reservations, but there's a lot of need for projectors, screens, shades, whiteboards, etc. And things like car dealerships are, here at ADI, we do see a lot of car dealerships investing in this type of technology. Digital signage has become big in terms of common spaces. So a lot of dealerships that offer service and have a waiting area are putting more AV into those spaces. There's background music, they need to do paging. A lot of them have glass walls, so automated shading has become big. And then on the surveillance side of that, to be able to tie that into the different areas within a dealership as well. Spas and hospitality, so custom audio for client or technicians, digital signage for advertising opportunities or to talk about specials and add-ons, etc. And background music is big in those arenas as well. So why is Pro AV something that you should be paying more attention to and looking to be able to capture more business in the spaces that you're working in? Well, the fact is because it's everywhere. You know, we talked a minute ago about some of the more common solutions and areas that we're seeing, but in terms of education, both K through 12, higher education, corporate spaces, retail and hospitality, it is growing in terms of not only applications, but of course that is going to be budgets. So when you think about the types of spaces that you're being brought into as a contractor, the odds are that there is some type of scope that includes audio video. And if this isn't something that you have traditionally bid on or felt that you've had the infrastructure to be able to work on, what we'd really like to be able to do is to be able to help you close more of those projects, more opportunities, and capture more share of wallet from your customers. So one of the biggest areas that we think we can help you get into those types of spaces is with displays and digital signage. This is certainly one of the areas that has the largest growth, predicted to be a $9 billion industry by 2022. And the majority of that does stem from larger panels, 65 inches and above. As the cost per inch continues to get driven down, we are seeing the scope of what end users are willing to do in terms of sizes go up and up. And even more so up north of 85 inches. And nowadays with direct view LEDs getting more cost effective, we're seeing a lot more of those applications get scoped in as well. But video walls continue, they are a pretty cost-effective solution, especially as we've seen the bezels get more narrow and narrow, what seems like year after year. And we're starting to see a lot more technology built into the panels. So both interactive and then from a collaborative standpoint, they're not just panels anymore, but they really are computer all-in-one system. So when you think about huddle spaces, when you think about classrooms, those users don't just need to display content. They need to be able to share content. They need to be able to annotate. They need to be able to send and receive. And so we work with several partners that have solutions in that area. And from the corporate space to the education space is something that continues to be very in demand. And we can help you with those types of opportunities as well. One of the things that really continues to drive displays and video walls is just how engaging of a device it is. And what we have seen over the past 10 years and what continues to be forecast is the growth in different sectors. Retail, now obviously these statistics were put together before the current retail challenge climate, but the U.S. Census report last was that 95% of the retail industry is populated by companies that have a single location. 77% have fewer than 10 employees. So, these are small businesses that are looking to take advantage of these opportunities. And we also work with large scale retailers as well, where they are doing 100 plus location rollouts. So it's definitely something that retailers, that small companies have seen as an engagement opportunity. And what the data tells us is that it can really work across a few different spaces in terms of what is the value for the retailer and what are the end users or the customers getting out of it. So depending on who your customer is, depending on the space that digital signage or display is going into, it can accomplish anything from helping influence purchasing to merchandising, enrolling in programs, to just setting the mood with the ambiance, provide a sense of safety in terms of mass notifications or pathways or safety notifications, as well as I know every time I go to the DMV, they've got wait times, so you kind of know where things are at, so it can kind of help in terms of anxiety or what they call dwell times. Branding, it's a huge opportunity for branding as well as selling that real estate. And then it can also help from a positive energy or a motivation standpoint, depending on the space that they're putting it in as well. The whys or the business factor of digital signage really comes down to the fact that it's been proven to help generate sales lift upwards of 50 to 300%, depending on how it's done and how well you're tailoring it to your audience. The recall rate is exceptionally high compared to other advertising opportunities. The response is that it vastly improves the experience in the environment for users and customers in those spaces. It can reduce the perceived wait times if you are helping display, communicate, putting additional information in front of people. So regardless of whether it's an actual reduction or it's not, it is certainly perceived as much. And then the third-party advertising opportunity. This is something that retailer, that restaurant can take advantage of from a recurring revenue opportunity as well. So, in short, revenue generation goes up, cost reduction can go down, and from a public safety or information standpoint, it can bring a lot of advantages as well. And it's one of the most cost-effective communication methods out there. I talked about recall rates. When you look at the statistics around online advertising, which is very low, around 3%, radio, magazines around mid-20s, billboards and TV are around 30%. Digital signage tends to really dwarf those and is over 50% according to Nielsen ratings as far as recall rates go. So, these are powerful statistics to use when you're working with clients or trying to sell them on a digital signage solution. We do work with several different CMS platforms that can help with the programming, that can help allow for advertising, that can make it very simple from a drag and drop cookie cutter template is on up to custom enterprise solutions. So we really have everything from whether it's your first time getting into digital signage, or you're experienced in it, we've got both the hardware and the software platforms to be able to help you be successful in that space. Just a couple of examples of kind of what digital signage means to a lot of end users. It can be anything from just helping with a waiting room to mass notifications, control and command, integrating social media, as well as helping from a calendar standpoint. And I'll say, if you're doing security, these are really areas that you should be familiar with. I'm sure mass notification, but it's really not just a strobe or a horn. This is really where the visual component of the communication comes in. And we can talk about what some examples of that look like. Some of the partners that we work with in the video display arena are LG Commercial, Samsung for Business, Planar, Sharp, Philips Professional, Peerless AV, and Optima. You might be familiar with some of these or all of them, but they really are best-in-class vendor partners that have some of the best panel technologies out there and allow us to really help get you the best solution. So, we've all seen a lot of incidents of emergencies in public spaces. So, be that a school or a college campus, one of the things that they are trying to accomplish is, how do you give instructions along with a strobe light or a horn in cases of those emergencies, especially if somebody's hearing impaired. So the digital signage aspect really allows for you to communicate and send custom messages out to the audiences if it's a pending lockdown, or if it's notifying that somebody has been apprehended, or to direct a pathway. Digital signage can help do that. So think about it as an additional component to mass notification, one that is in addition to the visual, the audio, and then can really allow for less confusion, can help get people either out of a space in a quicker period of time, or can help communicate very timely, urgent messages that could be life-saving in some situations. We're seeing the integration of commercial audio, video, and security and life safety more and more, and it seems to be happening exponentially faster. So one of the big areas that we've seen kind of this marriage is in the detection space, and not just from a life safety aspect, but also from a retail and capitalistic opportunity as well. So when you think about the fact, pairing detection software with camera hardware, along with the signage opportunities within Pro AV, what this can do is ultimately detect people coming up to, think about a retail space, people coming up to that area, being able to analyze their demographics, genders, or age brackets, to identify, okay, what boxes does this check in terms of purchasing opportunities, and then display that targeted content directly to those viewers. It can then collect information to see, okay, how long was somebody viewing that information, and then digest that information to know how powerful is this content, is this information that we're presenting being viewed, and then ultimately how do you tie that into sales, and what is the ROI from that. So this is something that, along with the software, along with the camera hardware, has proven to be incredibly accurate. Face detection around 98%, gender identity around 90%, age around 85%. On the life safety aspect, the weapons detection has been something that has been a very big component to these types of systems. And I know that there are some solutions that can identify that up to 35 feet, depending on the solution. And I think even more so with some of the manufacturers that we're working with. But in those situations, what we work on solutions that allow for is if there is a weapons detection system triggered on the camera side, that software can automatically begin communicating with the access controls of that building to lock down certain areas. It can do general audio notifications out to the building at large. It can do strobe notifications in certain areas, but it can also do internal or custom routed messages to the digital signage applications, so that maybe if you've got a perpetrator in a certain zone of the building, you want them to be seeing and hearing a message different than what your users or what your end users are seeing or hearing within the classrooms, within the offices, providing a pathway out, etc. So, that marriage of technology, of everything from detection to notification to creating a pathway, is something that really presents some unique life-saving opportunities to the customers that you're working with. Video conferencing is nothing new, but it is something that has gotten a lot of demand, and a lot more applications are looking to take advantage of that now. Here at ADI, we've got a couple of great partners that we work with. Vadeo is one, they're part of the Legrand family, and Clear One is another. So if you are getting asked about video conference telework opportunities, know that ADI has some great solutions that we can work with you on. You can talk to any of your local branch partners, and we can also, I'll make sure everybody gets the contact information. We do have a dedicated team of commercial AV experts that can help you spec those out and quote those out and help you win some of those types of projects. We're also seeing a lot more demand in the kiosk arena, and these are some of the unique solutions that our friends over at Peerless AV offer. And some of these products you may have seen. I know that I believe it is the THR 400 on there is actually, so I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we've got the Mall of America here. And I know that the Peerless kiosk here is all over the mall there to help you find your way around. And I've lived in Minneapolis for over 20 years, and I still need to use the wayfinders within that mall because it's so big to find my way around. But retail, malls, hospitals, campuses are utilizing these a lot more because the cost is ultimately getting driven down. These can be both indoor and outdoor applications. And because of that, we're seeing a lot more spaces take advantage and ask for these types of opportunities. So know that this is a solution we can help you with if you are being asked about, or if you're looking to put those into the scopes that you're working with. So I just want to talk a little bit about some of the services and support that ADI brings to the commercial AV space to help make you more successful. And I think one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, is really the best-in-class line card of vendors that we partner with. So we do work with the best vendors in the space to make sure that you're able to get not only the best solutions, the best up-to-date technology, stay ahead of the trends, work with some of the best service providers out there. We are Herman Audio's largest distributor. I mentioned earlier the video partners in Samsung, LG, Planar, Philips, Sharp that we work with. We work with Peerless AV, Chief, Mid-Atlantic, Herman. We work with a number of vendors on the projection, both projector, display and the screen side. So you can see we work with vendors across a lot of different spaces to make sure we can provide you with an end-to-end solution. And that's something that we want to make sure we're able to do. We're not just here to be a line collector. All of these are strategic so that we can really help you from a pre-sale support and allow you to close a total solution for your customer. In terms of the video applications, it is such a broad category. We talked about the digital signage opportunity. We talked about the video wall, some of the touch screen and interactive stuff. Know that those video partners that I mentioned really offer a total lineup and a very wide assortment of solutions and opportunities. Everything to go into shopping malls, airports, medical health centers, education spaces, corporate spaces, regardless of what type of application or solution your customer is looking for, we can help you with. And one of the things I did want to show you here is this is LG's ceiling in their corporate office, and if it looks like there is kind of a wave going on there, it's because that is their video wall that is formatted to be more three-dimensional. And if anybody saw this at Infocom last year, they had it set up in the form of a waterfall. It's very cool stuff. So with their displays, you can curve these up to 30 degrees to create just a truly unique solution in terms of the video wall. And then we're seeing a lot more multi-dwelling units, apartments, condominiums put more of these types of display solutions in their common spaces as well. And this is a Toll Brothers Sales Center in Brooklyn that is a video wall of the Brooklyn skyline. So builders, property managers using these both as sales tools as well as to help with some of that ambiance in some of those common spaces like we were talking about. So some of the solutions, again, that we work with, I mentioned the video partners, but know that we also have the infrastructure to help support the complete video solution. Vanco, MuxLab, 22 Mile, Now Signage, which is a new partner that we worked with. We are an AMX partner as well. So know that we've got, these partners have a lot of templates. They've got some both entry level as well as enterprise level software opportunities. And we're able to help you not only with the vision that you or your end user are trying to accomplish, but really all the parts and pieces that go into that. Wanted to plug the line card one more time, as well as call out some of the new additions. So Samsung Pro is a vendor that we brought on just last year. So not shiny new, but it might be new to you if you were unaware. Bose Professional is another audio brand that we brought on within the last year. Vadio and Clear One are our new video conference telework solutions. And Daylight, if you're not familiar with, is one of, if not the oldest name in front projection and rear projection display. So new partner for us, and we're really happy to have them on our offerings. So what does this mean in terms of how we can help you? I talked about the fact that ADI has a dedicated group of experts in the Pro AV space. We are here to work with you hand in hand. Generally, we are more than happy to come out and walk a job site with you to look over drawings. We're all trying to be safe in this new environment. So a lot more of that is being done virtually, but know that whether it's on-site or virtually, we really would like to work and partner with you on those solutions at the very get-go. We do offer pre-sales, design engineering support. We've got an in-house expert in Chris Rossini, who is a CTSD certified sales engineer and can help with the drawings, the line diagrams. As we move through the process, we help you register that project so you can get the best pricing. And then we can also help you with all of the other ancillary categories. So if there's structured cabling, if there is security, surveillance as part of that, we can help you with that as well. And that is both in the US and Canada. I mentioned earlier the team we've got. This team is really all over the US and Canada. I'll make sure that we can get you their contact information. This is my team, and we've got people that cover every corner of the US and Canada. So regardless of where you're at, we've got somebody that can be dedicated to help you on your commercial AV opportunities. Some of the other support that we've got, I talked about our technical sales engineer, Chris Rossini. He's located in Louisville, and he is a great asset to help you with commercial AV solutions, and not just solutions that fall under the ADI umbrella. He's proficient in several different programming languages and knows the industry very well. Our project registration team, I mentioned, very pertinent on the commercial displays, but we also register audio projects, camera projects, projector projects. The earlier we can register that, generally the more competitive that's going to allow you to be in terms of price. Our system support team, so we've got not only the balance of our team, but we're also able to partner with a lot of the vendors. So Bose, Atlas, Herman, Planar all offer some very in-depth technical support from a design as well as technical assistance standpoint. And then even as we have kind of been working through this virtual world, we have continued to do a lot of demos for your end users. So know that you can partner with us for an on-site or an online demo. We're continuing to execute those. We've been very successful. Our close rate, or I should say your close rate when you partner with us and do a demo, tends to be very high. So I would encourage you to talk to our Pro AV reps about those opportunities as they might come up. And then just some of the other resources that we offer. LG has a great field resource program, and they've got some really great reseller programs that include spiffs that are paid directly to you for selling their product. Peerless AV has got a great video wall mount configuration system, and Planar as well on their direct view LED product. As our ShamWow buddy there would say, but wait, there's more. And a couple of new updates that I do want to share from the ADI world. As Michael Maston talked about earlier, we are continuing to do robust online trainings. In fact, now more than ever. Trade shows have moved virtual, but we're continuing to try and participate in those as best we can. And then a couple of new things within the AV world at ADI I did want to mention. Earlier this year, we did make a very exciting acquisition. We acquired Herman Pro AV and Herman Integration Services. If you're not familiar with who they are, Herman Integration Services is a subcontracted labor and services team, and they offer everything from AV installation, digital signage, telephone, Skype installation. They do command and control. They do large video walls, including direct view LED, communications, conference room, and some structured cabling as well. So know that this is a licensed, insured, certified group of laborers and installers that can be ancillary to your team. If you or your team doesn't have maybe the proficiency in one of these areas, you can use this team for them. Or if it's just a matter of bandwidth or geography, this team is located all across the US. So we do have resources that can help you across a very wide scope in a lot of different geographies. So know that this is something that not only from a hardware standpoint, ADI can help you with, but we can also help you out from a labor standpoint and an installation standpoint as well. They do hold a lot of very valuable certifications and affiliations on the communication side. Polycom, Extron, Clear One, Biamp, Crestron certified. These are really all the big names in the Pro AV space. So the odds are that they're going to be proficient in the spacing category that you are looking for in your solutions, and really encourage you to consider that just in terms of if you need specialized help or just help from a bandwidth perspective. So just a couple of takeaways from what we've covered today. Know that ADI offers you access to Pro AV solutions, Pro AV vendors, technical expertise, both in terms of our teams and those vendors, and best pricing. So when we do registrations, we do projects for you, we can really make sure that you are getting the best pricing on these solutions. Couple that with the ADI advantages that we've got in place, the logistics standpoint and platforms that we offer, the ability to put product where you need it, when you need it, the ability to stage or kit these Pro AV or your total project solutions on a phased rollout, competitive credit terms with ADI's credit department, and then labor and programming opportunities with the Herman integration services. So I talked and I've mentioned about end-to-end solutions being the total solution provider. You can see here with everything that ADI offers in terms of hardware, expertise, logistics, even to labor and programming, we are serious when we talk about that, and we think that we can really be the best partner to make you successful, not only in the commercial AV space, but in a lot of the other categories that you're working across that ADI works with as well. So last but not least, I do want to say thank you to everybody's time. I hope I didn't drone on too long. I know we're going to try and take some questions, comments. I'll make sure that we can get the contact information for our teams out to everybody, our line cards out to everybody, make sure you've got the tools to help you be successful. But I do appreciate everybody's time. I know everybody's busy these days, and Michael, I think we'll open the rest of the time up for Q&A.